Hello, welcome back to the channel. So this is part two of a Wargamers day out in Normandy. So last year was 2023. I managed to have a day out in Normandy. It's in Brittany, which is about 400 kilometers away from Normandy. So on my day out, where I got to get the car and go off wherever I wanted to go and see, I drove up to Normandy. Pat would have been proud. Got really early, finished late at night, but yes, Brittany to Normandy. But actually, driving in France is really good. So, part one of this series of videos, I looked at the Overlord Museum, American Military Cemetery. This is part two, where I'm going to look at the rest of Omaha Beach, Pont du Hoc, and the Bocage Museum. One of the things you'll find in Normandy is lots of memorials, fortifications, and stuff you can go around and look at and explore. I would point out, chose Omaha Beach because there's a lot of stuff combined into one that I was interested at the moment. I do want to get back and maybe visit the British sites, Utah Beach. You could quite easily spend a week in Normandy, and I think that would be great holiday, especially with all the great Normandy ciders and stuff they have. I love France. Driving in France is really good as well. I've had no issues driving in France either. In fact, my biggest issue driving in France is when I come back to Portsmouth and I hit the UK road network. Anyway, so this is, for example, one of those memorials that you'll find, and another one around on Omaha Beach, near Omaha Beach. I said before, you get into different fortifications and memorials and have a look around, and yeah, there is so much of it, and it is so accessible. It was really eye-opening. So this here is Omaha Beach as it is now. So we're kind of looking along. This is probably up towards the bit where Saving Private Ryan is set. Now, this big headland sticking out, I always thought Punt the Hoc you could actually physically see down the beach, but no, that wasn't Punt the Hoc, as I was to find out later. And I think on the day itself, it caused a bit of confusion. On the road there, actually, interestingly enough, you see a wee Jeep, and there's an excursion you can get where they'll take you on a Jeep ride around the principal sites on Omaha Beach. I did collect some sand from Omaha Beach. I did want to do a modeling project based on it, and they used sand as base material. And for even though I had the plan for two, I was in two minds whether to do it or not, whether it was being disrespectful or not. But actually, when I got to Omaha Beach, it's almost like a holiday resort. So people are on the beach playing beach balls, all that sort of stuff going on, which I suppose is why we fought the war for freedom. And once I saw all that, that kind of removed my apprehension about the beach itself and the sand. So I did get a wee container of sand from Omaha Beach. What's really interesting is I live uh, near a beach which was used for practice and landing, and you hear a lot about getting the sand right for the beaches, for vehicles to get on the right beach. And I've got kind of like a very coarse sand. And when they talked about the beaches in Normandy, I always imagine that because I can run on it. It's not easy, but I can still run on it. But actually, the sand on Omaha Beach is really fine, really difficult to run on. It must be okay for the vehicles, obviously, but that surprised me. And again, like I say, lots of fortifications out and about. And that's that headland again, which I thought was Pont Hoc. Now this is up on Pont Hoc itself. Remarkably, it's maintained by the American kind of, I don't know what you'd call it, organization look after kind of military sites. So it's free to get into, and you can walk around the whole site. And actually, for a very long time, you could walk over the whole site, but now they've kind of put paths in. So the top of Point Hawk very flat, but you can see lots of fortification, lots of shell craters. So this is actually a big shell crater in the middle. It was bombed significantly during the attack. I don't know the person in the photo, just getting taking a photo out. That's looking out where the invasion flotilla would have been. Again, more of those shell craters. This is the cliff faces that the Rangers would have climbed up. You can see the point at the top there. And this is the other side of that headland that I thought was the Point du Hoc itself. So actually, from Point du Hoc, you cannot see down Omaha Beach, but the importance of it was there were German heavy guns there, which could have quite easily fired onto Omaha Beach or across the water at Utah Beach, which you can see, but it's quite far away, further than I thought. Actually, the whole of Omaha Beach is about 10 kilometers long. So this is some of the defence work. So this would have been the sort of gun pits I was talking about. So it's circular, so they've been on turntables, able to point at entrenchments. Like I say, lots of it open. Picture of me in my summer best. I don't do well in bright sunlight, grimacing, but I do like a selfie. So this is the cliff where the Rangers assaulted. So imagine come off your landing ships. There is, I think there was a company of Germans troops defending the top, and you've got to climb up this hill, cliff face, and their capture a defended position. Remarkable bravery. You know, I must have been really impressed by the fact that that was a Point the Hawk as I take another photo of it. This is looking out over the pillbox furthest away from us. That was the last position that the Germans were holding on to on the night of the 6th of June. Basically, the Rangers landed. They were meant to be met up with from troops landing at Omaha Beach. Obviously, there were delays at Omaha Beach. So the Rangers both had to push on, find the guns, destroy the guns, hold the position as well. So you're looking at German troops being dug in about a football field's away, top, very close action. So this is the Normandy Victory Museum, the Bocage Museum, which was another museum I found probably closer to the Utah beach than Omaha Beach, but it was kind of like on my route back out. And again, when you're going around Normandy, even if you didn't pay to go into any museums, and it's well worth your time paying to go into museums, you'll find and see loads of Sherman tanks. Inside, just like the Overlord Museum in Part 1, there's a lot of set sort of mannequins and uniforms alongside the vehicles, helping put everything into context. We've seen set up. And is a different museum experience to what I've had before in the UK. I really enjoyed it. Uh, being able, like I say, for me, being able to see everything together in context as opposed to on its own, sort of behind glass cabinets. This was really cool. It was like you were on board the landing craft going in, and there was video footage from the period and stuff, talking you through what it was like. This is obviously the footage of the beaches as it was, where they're planning to land. Some more of those. Because this focused a bit more on the Overlord, was kind of focusing on D-Day landings itself. This was a bit further into the Bocage, so it looked at, for example, the horse-drawn German units, bicycles, etc., and the fighting in the Bocage. Again, as a war gamer, I'm taking photos like this, so I've got an idea of what camouflage patterns actually look like. So when I go to paint them, I know what I am not going to replicate it exactly, but I'm going to give it a sense or feel of that. This had a section looking at sort of women in uniform. Obviously, France, a lot of women would serve in the resistance. Um, but it covered women across the whole of the war. And yeah, back to American armor. well, I came away from my day in Normandy wanting to paint American armor. This is a Free French tank. I said before in part one how I was inspired to do a Free French force because of my experiences. So I've got these pictures to have a look at what markings would look like on the sides of tanks. Again, I mentioned in part one stowage, kind of what it would look like, help me paint it up and understand it better. This is myself with another one of those M8 Scots Free French. Um, expect to see some of those painted up in a wee bit. Well, not in this video, meant a wee bit in time. Oh, I think this was a Jeep you could get in and get a pose with. It's on my own, so it's a selfie time. Then outside, loads of military vehicles as well. And as you can see, really nice sunny day. I think I think I counted up over the course of my holiday. I counted 11 Shermans I'd seen, and I think that is me actually leaving France. A lot of the ports, though, have it's a very rocky island coastline, which has its advantages, has its disadvantages. But certainly, like I say, I'd quite happily go back to Normandy and spend a week rambling around Normandy. Fortunately, that's not the sort of holiday my wife would appreciate. So who knows what the future will hold on that front for if I do get back to go back to Normandy and have a look around. But anyway, I hope you found that useful. Hopefully, you've been inspired to go and visit Normandy. Certainly, my thoughts have gone back to Normandy today, the 6th of June, 2024, the 80th anniversary of Normandy. If you've got any hidden gems that you think people should visit in Normandy, feel free to throw details onto the comment section. But that is everything I have for Normandy. Part three, I will be talking about a similar sort of video looking at a real gem of a place that I found in Brittany and definitely worth a visit if you are into military history in Brittany. But anyway, that's bye for now. And I look forward to chatting to you again in another video.